Way of doing this technique, we grab the wrist and turn it out. Step in, now the elbow is going the wrong way. We break the elbow as we go over, and instead of pulling up on the head like I've been doing with the technique, to keep his head from falling on the ground, I'm going to pull down, forcing his head into the ground. Again, I can't do this technique because the arm won't bend that way. But it'll look like this. Here, and bring it up, and at this point, force his head down into the ground. Grab the wrist, turn it slightly out, come in, elbow going the wrong way, lift, breaking the arm, driving the head into the ground. Miguel will be uke for the next technique in Nagewaza, which will be o uchigeri, or major inside reap. We'll show this one initially the way we train it, then we'll show some combative applications. We'll come up and get our standard grip. And this time, the right leg on Miguel is going to have to be back. We may have done something like going for Osoto and he pulls the legs back, and we'll do the technique this way. From here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide in and hook his leg with my right leg in this manner. And then I'm going to drive him to his back left quadrant in this manner here. And I'm going to reap his leg away with my leg in this manner. Now, let's look at some of the combative applications striking to the vital points. We're going to be here in the position. The first point we talked about already is lung 2, the point right here. We're going to drive our knuckles into it, breaking his balance. We're going to use a front kick to liver 9 on the inside of the thigh, or to his femoral nerve. I place the foot down, slide in, and strike to the bladder points behind his legs, the ones we've talked about, driving him back to his back left quadrant. We'll take a look at this one in full speed. I will not strike the acupuncture points. Now, there are other applications for this. If he throws a roundhouse kick, we jam the kick, striking the points on the inside of his thigh, grabbing, stepping through, sweeping him to the ground, finishing him off. There's also leg locking techniques from here that we can go into. Again, throws the kick, block, strike, grab, sweep him down into the technique. Kataguruma, or shoulder wheel, is a classic judo throw found in Kodokan Judo or USJI, JA, or JF. This throw is done by getting your standard grip, and you step in with the right leg, coming into a squatted position, pulling him over, lifting him up, and throwing him over in this manner. It'll look like this. We can improve this throw by using vital point striking. By stepping in and striking liver 9, breaking his balance, picking him up, and then throwing him over. Sport version has also made this a little more effective by dropping to one knee. Stepping in, dropping to the knee, you can strike to the groin or the liver point, pull him down, get your body below his center of gravity, and throwing him over. Sambo also has a variation to this throw. What we're going to do is tie up kumikata, and we're going to strike the lung meridian here, pulling the hand off and away. At the same time, I'm pulling the hand around. I can strike to gallbladder 20. Grab the lapel. Now at this point, my feet won't move. They're going to stay right where I'm at. I'm going to drive this across, bend my knees, drive my body into him. My head is below his OB, and I'm going to drop to my right knee, throwing him around. Grab, strike the lung meridian, strike the gallbladder 20, grab, push it through, drop my head. Notice where my head is, below his OB. Pull down, drop the knee, and throw. Katemi-waza, grappling techniques. There is shime-waza, or strangling techniques in katemi-waza, and there's kenketsu-waza, or joint bending or breaking techniques. There's also a third part, which is called osokome, or hold downs. We won't address our hold downs because we're talking about combative applications of techniques. Shime-waza, or strangling techniques, are generic to many different martial arts. Judo, jujitsu, karate, and some forms of Korean arts have these techniques in them. We consider two types of shime-waza, air and blood. Blood being the better. We restrict the flow of the blood from the heart to the brain. In this type of shime-waza, or choking technique, it will take between 10 and 15 seconds before the person will lose consciousness. The air choke, when applied, is collapsing the trachea, stopping air from going to the lungs. It'll take between 2 and 3 minutes before the person loses consciousness, so he's going to be able to fight for that long. Matsukaze-ryu jujitsu enhances these techniques by striking to the acupuncture cavities or the vital points of the body. This makes the techniques much more effective. Let's look at the anatomy of the neck, or target areas of the neck. In the center of the neck, we have the thyroid cartilage, or commonly known as the Adam's apple. That's conception vessel 23. From there, we move off to the side, and there's a muscle here called the sternocleidomastoid muscle. It goes from the bottom of the ear to the top of the collarbone. That muscle will move. As we put our fingers on the thyroid cartilage and slide it over to the side, you should feel a heartbeat. That's the common carotid artery. Common carotid artery is bilateral and comes up on either side of the neck. Right here, at this point, the common carotid will V, and it becomes the internal and external carotid. It's also a little point called the carotid sinus, or stomach 9. Stomach 10 is a little bit farther down, and it's bilateral on either side. You have small intestine 17 at the base of the jaw, right here, and small intestine 16. The biggest difference with strangles and most other systems is they attack only the carotid artery or the trachea. In Matsukaze-ryu jujitsu, we also attack the acupuncture cavities, which gives you a better effect. The first thing we're going to talk about is called name jujijeme, or a normal choke, or strangle. What we're going to do is we're going to reach up with our right hand, thumb in, bringing that hand along that sternocleidomastoid muscle, pushing it in. I'm putting pressure now on the stomach meridian, and we can actually strike this in a real fight. Striking this way and grabbing. Same time, I'm going to reach across and grab. Notice both thumbs are in here. Both thumbs are in, and then I'm going to just pull and push my elbows down, keeping my wrists straight. And I'm applying pressure to the stomach meridian here, and I'm also going to apply pressure across that conception vessel. Okay, again, remember the first thing we can do is strike to this point, grab, reach across, grab, and apply pressure. This works just as well on the ground. I'm here this way. I strike down to the individual, striking stomach 9, stomach 10, or the small intestine or large intestine, grabbing the technique here, reaching across, putting pressure on the same place, applying a choke and dropping my elbows down, applying an effective blood choke. That's one way of doing it. The next way is called Gayakyu Jujejime, or a reverse choke, reverse choke. The first choke we went in this manner. The next choke, our hands are just going to reverse. This will resemble your X block in karate. The thing we were told was an X block. This time again, we can shoot in and strike to the neck, to the stomach 9, stomach 10, large intestine or small intestine meridian, this way, and grab. This one slides up and in. Again, now notice that the knuckles are on the inside, the thumbs are on the out. And then I'm going to apply pressure by rotating the hands, and dropping the elbows in. This way. That's called Gayakyu Jujejime. Name Juji, Gayakyu Juji. It works as well on the floor. So we're here. I can strike to conception vessel 23, drive this down in onto the sternocleidomastoid, slide the other one in to the other side, twist, and then drop the elbows in. Gayakyu Jujejime. There's another one called Kata Jujejime, or a broken or half. So it's not important that we actually have to think which way the hands go. Do they go this way? Do they go this way? They can go any way that they get in there. This one hand is going to go in the Gayakyu way. The other goes in Name, or regular. And we do the same thing and apply the choke. Again, we're striking as we're going in. Here, striking to the neck, grabbing. This one comes across and choking. So, down on the ground, please. From the position here, I strike down. Again, I can strike the conception vessel, stomach 9 or 10. Trap. Bring this one underneath and kata juji, twist and drop the elbows. Now you notice I'm releasing some of that pressure. Very, very dangerous to choke like this. Between 10 and 15 seconds he can go out. I've also got a lot of stuff in here. Thyroid cartilage, carotid artery, carotid sinus, things I could do a horrible, horrible amount of damage to. Vagus and phrenic nerve, you have to be really careful when you're doing these techniques. There's another technique, and we're going to do it from down here, which is called kata te jime, or one-arm strangle. We're going to put it in the Gayakyu mode, right like this. Again, we can strike and grab, and maybe I can't get this hand down. It's not important. What I'm going to do now is drop my elbow down and apply the choke. Strike, grab into the carotid, my knuckles are already there, and pull it across and down. That's the Gayakyu. You can do Name from here also, coming in this way. Maybe I've been pulled down here, I come in, my hand's down, he's fighting over here, grabbing me, my hand's here, and then I just pull it across. Okay, very, very simple techniques. Kata hajime. Stand up, turn around, please. Let's do, turn around, on your knees. Let's do haraka jime, naked strangle. This is one, if a guy doesn't wear heavy clothing, a gi, something like that, this is a good choke. We take our arm and we come across here. Again, conception vessel, bam, I can hit him here and drive this in to stomach 9. Driving it in, this hand comes up and grabs here. Then I'm going to pull this in and pull my elbow in, and I'm using this motion with my arm. I'm using that radial bone here, and I'm driving my shoulder slightly forward. This motion. Remember, strike here and apply. Okay, if he tucks his chin, not a problem. Underneath of the nose, pull it up, and I change direction with the technique into here. Another one of harakajime, a variation, is to come around here and slip my arm through. Put my hand on my bicep, bring this arm underneath here. I'm doing the same shoulder technique and arm technique. I'm pulling the radial bone here up against this way. I'm pushing down here and pushing in with my shoulder. So the technique is there. And pushing in. Pushing in. You can strike, boom, here. Underneath shoots through, comes up and around, shoulder in, there's the technique. Another technique for strangling would be a kuri jujijime, or a sliding collar. Come through, I can grab, bring this one around and to the side. I'm strangling on this side with this hand, here. This is pulling tight against this side of the neck. Okay, again, small intestine 17 or 16, or to the stomach meridian. This hand comes underneath, grabs the other side of the lapel, pulls down, and push in. Come through, grab, strike, grab enough so you get around to the side, grab the lapel, pull down, push in. Now, this arm can become a problem, but we have a solution. It's called kata hajime, or one-wing strangle. One-wing strangle, I come into my technique, maybe hit, grab, bring it across, strike into the neck, here, grab the lapel. As I start to choke, he's gonna try to grab my head with this arm. This hand comes up and around, and I apply pressure forward against the back of his neck, his cervical vertebrae, this way. So, strike, come around, grab, pull, he comes back in here. This can also strike and pull. Now, if he's a bigger guy, you can come into this manner. So you tie up the hand, the arm, here. If he's a very big guy, you can wrap the leg around and come into the side here and apply. Marote jime, 2 hands. Again, we strike with this. I'm coming in, I can strike here to small intestine 17 in this manner, striking, grabbing the lapel, bringing it in, and choking. Here, rotate the hands up and in. This technique is just as effective from the rear, where I grab, in, and choke. In and choke. Ire jime, collar choke. We can attack this again by striking to the body here and grabbing inside the lapel, or doing a ridge hand strike to the other side. So a ridge hand would come here and I would grab, then strike with a hammer fist on the side and grab. I'm going to go ahead and put it in this way so you can see. Here. Now notice my fingers, my little finger and my thumb are almost touching. It's almost like a baseball bat, like grabbing a baseball bat. And at this point, I'm going to be pressing on the stomach meridian and the large intestine meridian, small intestine meridian. I'm going to turn my body and apply the choke. The technique is here, the fingers, and the neck is right in this area, and what I'm doing is this. Cutting off the blood flow. It works just as well for on the ground, where I may be fighting here. I strike in and grab, come across, and now what I'm going to do is just turn and roll, or turn and roll. Sode Goruma or sleeve wheel. This technique, again, is done. We're going to strike to the head and bring this one around. This hand comes up, and I'm putting my thumb on the inside of the lapel and applying pressure. Sode Goruma sleeve wheel. Again, this is done just as well on the ground. I'm on top, I strike, I come down in, maybe he pulls me down. Maybe I'm here and he pulls me down, this hand comes down, this hand comes around, into the sleeve, and then apply the choke. Jikaiko Jime, held strangle. This technique is when a man is on the ground on all fours. Turn this way. Okay, I'm going to be here. I'm coming in, maybe kneeing here to the ribs. I'm going to hook with my left leg around his arm. This time I'm coming in, I can strike again to that neck and grab the lapel. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a forward shoulder roll this way. As I come down, the leg will switch. So I trap his arm, and I apply the choke by throwing the leg over and pushing down. Okay, I can straight to the ribs. I can go to gallbladder 31 in the side of the knee, hook the leg. I went over last time, I can come underneath. Doesn't make a difference. And I'm gonna roll. Move back, please. I'm gonna roll, the legs switch, up and around, and apply the choke. Jujitsu, or the straight arm bar, occasionally is done two different ways. One way, the leg comes over top, this leg comes over top. You can cross the legs, you can pull the leg back in, make it tight, bringing the knees together to make it very tight. This is very common. Another common way of doing jujitsu, sometimes after a throw, is to have this leg on this side of the opponent and this coming in here. And what they'll do is they'll lean back and usually apply pressure up. I prefer to use what's called a shearing arm bar, where my knees become very tight, and I haven't even started applying the pressure yet. The knees become tight, and then I take his little finger and I go in the direction of the little finger, and I shear it across my leg this way. Now, a little trick here for this. I want to move this leg. At this point, most people don't realize it. The carotid artery runs right here. I'm going to take my toes and I'm going to put it in the carotid, just like this. The other leg goes across, and it happens to fall right on the other side of the carotid. So at this point, I also have a toe choke. Very effective technique. You can also strike to the stomach 9, stomach 10, small intestine 17 or 16. Very effective choke, along with the shearing arm bar. Works very well. Another strangle is sankaku jime, or triangle choke. A lot of wrestlers in this position will reach underneath trying to clear your legs. As he goes to clear my leg, I want to bring it up and stop it against his head here, like this. And I'm pulling in. This is already starting to get tight. This arm I will pull across 45, and if I have to, I can do it right from here just by pulling down on my own leg. This is okay. It's a good choke, but it gets a little bit worse when we apply the other leg. At this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my other leg, bring it around, and I figure 4. The